Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Brandon Atlanta Man Bang back right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, with another installment of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Hey, man, you guys already know rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. So glad to be here this Wednesday, man, right before Turkey Day. So I hope everybody out there is having really good holidays, man, enjoying the food, enjoying the family. That's what it's all about, man. So as I said on the last episode, we're going to start doing things a little bit different. It's going to be every other week here until we hit the first of the year in January. We're going to pick it right back up with every Wednesday night, 6 o'clock right here, Coach's Corner, center of the universe, man. But we got some things to go over, happened the last couple of weeks there in NASCAR world, man. A little bit of news, a little bit of drama, a little bit of people getting in trouble, man. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. But hey, at the end of the day, you guys know how we do it. We start out with the word of the day. Last episode's word of the day was next gen. So I'm sure there at the end of the season I mentioned that quite a few times during that show. As you know, if you've never played along, get your favorite adult beverage. Every time I say this word that Lawrence is going to post right here live, every time I say it during tonight, or if you watch on Saturdays on our YouTube, man, take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I'll always say it's kid-friendly as well. There's no school this week, so I'm sure you guys are already having a blast, man. Get some hot cocoa, get an energy drink, get some Coca-Cola, man. Give it hell there tonight if you're underage as well, man. So today's word of the day, let me get that square because I did say that. Today's word of the day is going to be this, man. I have absolutely no idea what it's going to be, but whatever it is, I'm sure I'll probably mention it quite a few times, man. So we're going to get right into NASCAR news. Moving right along, man. We're not going to have some who's hot and who's not. Obviously, season is done. Some of the elements of the show have been taken out, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. So breaking it down, hey, man, name change over there at Roush Fenway, man. It's no longer Roush Fenway. It's now Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, man. And I tell you what, that 6 car looked pretty nice, man. So I think they're going to make some really good moves over there this year. I think bringing in Brad Keselowski obviously is going to change the hopes for that program, kind of hopefully get Roush back to the powerhouse that it once was. I've been watching it long enough to remember when they had 5 cars fielded in every single race. That's just how good they were and when they won. And it kind of slacked off there in the last few years, but I think bringing in Brad Keselowski and the hunger that he wants to be successful, not only as a driver, but also as a team owner, partial team owner, is definitely going to drive that team and drive that organization to kind of rebuild and get a little bit better. So excited to see what 2022 holds for that team. And to be honest, we don't have long to wait. 88 days till Daytona, so that means we got 81, 70 something left until we get right there to the Coliseum, man, week before the Super Bowl. So 4th, 5th of February, somewhere right around in there. It's going to be super exciting. Ready for that, man. But moving on, a big congrats out there to Smoke, Mr. Tony Stewart, man, on his wedding day, married. Hey, big moves, man. Took him a while to get there, but he's there now. I'm sure he's happy. Congrats to him and his new bride. And hey, man, who knows? Maybe a little Smoke Jr. on the way here soon, man. We all know how honeymoons go, you know. So we'll see what happens. See if he gets a little race car driver out of it or not. Either way, man, congrats out there to him and his family, man. So biggest news, if you've been keeping up with it, as you know, what's up? Kyle Busch in the house, y'all. Kyle Busch in the house, man. So biggest news we got, next gen testing right there at Charlotte. I mean, we've all been waiting on it. NASCAR has quite a few test sessions scheduled here throughout now until the first of the year. They did actually move one they had scheduled for Phoenix here coming up in a few weeks. I think the 15th of December. They moved it till after the first of the year. Everything else as far as the schedule is going to stay the same. But, you know, that's something that comes along with the next generation race car. I mean, we got to give these guys the allotted test time to go out and kind of get things figured out. It was very obvious there at the Charlotte test, you know. You had, you know, everyone struggled a little bit with that next-gen car, finding the balance in it. There again, brand new car, got to get used to it. Drives a little bit different, handles a little bit different. You know, a lot of good stuff came out of it, man. But Austin Dillon had the biggest moment of the whole thing. Wrecked, slapped the wall, tore a race car up. But I tell you, it was absolutely amazing compared to, let's say you did that this year. You were pretty much done in the garage and finished. And I tell you what, with them moving the car from, you know, actual metal panels down to a composite body now, the car is going to be a lot more forgiving when you get into another car or when you get into the wall or you have trouble. It's not going to tear that race car up quite as bad body-wise. So we're just going to have to wait and see how it all balances out. But I tell you what, they did an amazing job repairing the 3, getting it back out there. You know, when you looked at it, Denny Hamlin also had some trouble, kept it clean, spun out, exited a turn there, kept it out of the wall. You know, a lot of guys had a lot of good feedback on it. You know, the one thing you can take out of the wreck with Austin Dillon is the safety protocols that NASCAR put into this car. You know, actually, you know, did its job. So that's something that was kind of up in the air other than a test dummy. You know, we hadn't seen that with a real person in the race car, and we got to. So at the end of the day, I think, you know, when you talk about a next generation race car that's supposed to be cheaper for the teams and safer for the driver, seeing that safety implemented into this car was definitely a huge plus. I mean, NASCAR spent a lot of money, a lot of development, a lot of time trying to figure out things that they can do to help the driver, not only with the safety protocols from impacts, but also the heat inside the race car. They're trying to defer that heat a little bit and get rid of some of the cabin heat that these guys do. Just kind of make it a little bit of an easier ride than what it is. So at the end of the day, I think we're headed in the right direction. It's going to take a little bit of time to get it figured out, but I tell you what, I'm just glad to see cars on the track at any time, man. Doesn't matter what it is. So, you know, there again, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see which teams develop this car a little bit further and faster than others. I tell you what, at the end of the day, we all know talent and money is going to rise to the top. I think it's going to take a little bit longer for some of these big name teams to kind of get this figured out, to find that fine line. That was the biggest feedback by the drivers, was just trying to find the fine line, getting that car set on the edge. For anybody that thinks it's just these guys get in the car and turn left and it is what it is and they drive, it's not that way. These cars are on edge at every single moment in those turns, man. If they push it too hard or even harder, it's going to spin out. So it's finding that fine line and, you know, getting the balance of the race car down. I mean, we changed a lot of things from the model of race car we're racing now, or we're racing, onto this next gen, not only through pit stops, you know, mechanics, body, the way it handles, what it does, the looks, the numbers on the car. I mean, everything's changed. So we're ushering in a new era. I've seen quite a few of them. Being a fan since I was 4 years old, I've seen quite a few eras of NASCAR, quite a few different model of, you know, next-gen cars. And I thought the racing was probably some of the best in the last 10 to 15 years out of this one. So I'm really going to be interested to see if this next-gen car comes along and still produces the same great racing that we've had over the last 4 to 5 years with this next-gen car. But we're going to have to wait and see, man. So there again, I think it equals the playing field, you know, for quite a few weeks, say the first 10 weeks of the season. I think it's going to equal that playing field and give a lot of guys opportunities to go up and race for some wins and get some good finishes that we're not used to seeing. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see. So with those results, it was the 2-day test there at Charlotte. Day one, you had the top speed was 173 plus miles an hour. I mean, right there, it slowed down significantly there at Charlotte from what we're used to seeing in those old cars. As I said, I think that will also pick up as these guys get a handle on the race car. As you can see, when I dropped the day two number of 175 average lap, topped the chart that day. So in a day of just going back and changing some things that they understand to change without the time to look back at that data and analyze what they really need to do, gain 2 miles an hour. So I think as we go on throughout the season, like I said, you're going to see these cars pick up speed. You're going to see them definitely get some things figured out, get some things lined up, and hopefully that leads to some great racing, man. So I want to give a big shout out, man, to everybody out there watching, man. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you haven't yet, please go out, like, share, follow all our social media, man. You can catch us on Instagram, Facebook. The main thing is, man, Lawrence does a great job putting it up here every Saturday, early Sunday morning. The Rubbin' and Grubbin' YouTube channel. Definitely need to subscribe, like, share, and definitely keep up with that, man. Lawrence does so many good things, edits the show a little bit better than what it is here live. Sometimes we tend to act up, just depends on how many Bud Lights I have. But I tell you, this year I felt like I was in pretty good shape this year, man. I didn't ever really get to a certain point that I like to get to sometimes. But yeah, we had a good time, man. But hey. Like I said, man, thank you guys for everything you do for not only Rubbin' and Grubbin', but Coach's Corner as well. And like I said, like, share, follow, all that social media, man, does nothing but help us raise money for great causes that we do here at Coach's Corner. So, hey, here's a new thing. Talk about, man, first pit stops for that next gen, man. I tell you what, I was going to be really interested to see this. If there was any downfall to the changes that NASCAR made with this next gen car, it was that single lug to me, man. I was hating that. It takes the human factor out of it in a way. You know, you don't have 5 to get on tight. You don't have 5 to get off tight. You know, it's just going to do different things, man. So, hey, when I saw the video of what they're doing now, which there were very few cars that elected to even attempt that pit stop. 2 came out of the Hendrick camp with the 24 of William Byron and the 9. I tell you, when I watched the 9 pit crew, man, it doesn't look that much different than what we're used to. You know, it goes down from 5 lugs down to that single center locking lug now. We went from a 15-inch rim to an 18-inch rim, so it is going to be a little bit different for these guys. The feedback from not only the drivers but the crew members themselves were everything's just going to have to be faster. We're going to have to get faster. You know, the one downfall that they were talking about is race condition, you know, under pit stops, making changes to the car with what NASCAR has implemented in this next gen car. The changes are going to take a little bit more time, and refueling the car is going to take a good bit of time as well. But there again, these guys are top notch at what they do. These guys are athletes. They're going to go out as teams, figure out how to do it efficiently, faster, quicker. That's what they get paid to do, man. So I'm excited to see where we get by the time we hit Daytona to, let's say, when we go to the first Darlington race there in May. How much time we picked up through these pit stops and what these guys are able to do, and the sequence of it, because it is the ballet out there. You know, it went from just guys going out there and doing what they got to do to synchronized you know, movements, man. So just going to be different. But you know, a lot of other big news coming out, man. One of my favorite things that came out is the return of practice and qualifying to Cup races in 2022. We're not going to get the practice there at the big racetracks, the Daytona and Talladega, but we are going to get the qualifying back there, and we're going to get practice and qualifying at every other track. So practice has been cut significantly time. If you've been watching the sport for a lot of years, they had 2 one-hour practices, then you had happy hour. I mean, these guys had 2 to 3 hours in the car every weekend to get them dialed in. I was never actually a huge fan of that much practice. It kind of gets drawn out. Yeah, it's great for the fans that are at the racetrack to watch. But I tell you what, cutting it down to what they cut it down to, I think is going to give them enough time with the organizations and what they do to get the timing right, get the car figured out. But the qualifying, man, that is something huge. We're not going to do this off of a base bias points anymore. We're coming back to doing single car qualifying runs. So the way that they have it worked out is the field's going to be split in 2 groups, an A group and a B group. Now, at Daytona, it's going to be a little bit different, but after Daytona, it'll be set off your finishing positions, odds and evens in different groups. The top 5 speeds from each one of those groups are going to move on to the last round, the showdown, where 10 guys are going to go out, single car run to see who starts on the pole, who's got that front starting position. So there again, I think NASCAR as an organization heard what the fans wanted. They're making great moves, I think, implementing this back into the race weekend. You know, it's also something else to watch out for with the ticket when you purchase to watch the race. I mean, that's part of it, is seeing the qualifying. You know, it kind of tells you who has speed, who doesn't, who's right, who's wrong. I mean, it's just part of the sport. I'm so glad to see that coming back, man. And I tell you what, the more seat time that they get inside this next-gen car, I think, or of any race car, it's just going to make for a better race. So I really hope that all this feeds into just all-around better racing for the sport. There it is. Woo, that was a good one too, man. All right. So, you know, moving right into some things, man. Something that was up in the air that they thought they had figured out there before the end of the 2021 season. They just got it figured out here the last couple of weeks. And that's with the 2311 team, you know, Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin-owned team with the 45 of Kurt Busch. They thought they had a charter lined out here earlier in the season. Didn't quite play out that way. They got one lined out now. So I'm really glad to see that 45 car get that full-time charter. They don't have to go in and base off qualifying and qualify every single week, which I don't think they would have had a problem with Kurt Busch behind that seat. But it's just nice to know that they're going to be making every single race this year with that charter. So not only do you get to see the historic 45 for me growing up in the era of Adam Petty and losing that good race car driver, but wearing that number 45, bringing that over, it's got to do a little bit of justice, not only, you know, for that team, but it's also got to make the Petty family feel good as well, seeing that back out there. So what a better guy to get in it than Kurt Busch. I thought this was one of the best moves that 23XI could have made during the offseason. I was wondering if Trackhouse was going to do it with them buying Ganassi and keeping him on, him and Suarez instead of Chastain, or, Daniel Suarez going and Chastain and him staying. But they opted to keep Chastain and they opted to keep Daniel Suarez. So Kurt Busch goes over to 23XI, man. And I tell you, it's going to pay dividends. This guy is a past series champion. He's got a lot of wins. He's got a lot of experience through a lot of different race cars. I think he's definitely going to get in that seat and help propel that 23XI team to more consistency, better race cars, and help build that organization. I don't think there's a better guy out there that you could go and get that was available this offseason or during this season that was not going to have a contract for next year than Kurt Busch. So, if you snooze, you lose. I feel like Trackhouse probably lost out on something they really could have helped and really needed there. But at the end of the day, hey, man, 23XI, 45 car for Kurt Busch, got that Charger, and away we go, man. So other news, hey, good news over there at Petty Motorsports itself, man. Richard Petty Motorsports and the 43 took on another major time sponsor in Focus Factor, man. They joined on to sponsor that 43 car, so be looking out for that paint scheme. Going to be a little bit different than that Petty blue and red and white we're used to seeing on that STP car. But I tell you what, it is a good looking vehicle. If you hadn't had a chance, I highly recommend go check out NASCAR.com. You can check out a picture of that vehicle along with the 6 of Brad Keselowski. Both of them are really good looking race cars, man. So glad to see Petty, getting some more major sponsors in, maybe help build that organization a little bit. I think they got the talent in Eric Jones. I think it's just a little bit of lackluster equipment right now. And who knows, man, anything's revivable. It just takes the money and the time and willingness to put it in. So we'll see maybe if some more sponsors, like the 43 car, want to jump on, put a little bit more money into that team, and they can build something here with this next gen car. But we got to wait and see. Don't have long to go, man. But big shout out to my main sponsor over there here at Rubbin' and Grubbin' outside of Coach's Corner, man. My man Parker Eccles over there, Arbor Man Tree Service. Love you, brother. Thank you for everything you do for me up here at Rubbin' and Grubbin', man, and everything you do for us. Hey, like I say all the time, any kind of tree service you need, doesn't matter, whatever it may be, an estimate, need a tree removal, stump grinding, limb trimming, anything that you need, man. Parker over there, Arbor Man, definitely take care of you. So you're going to see that number scrolling on the bottom of the screen during tonight's broadcast. If you need any kind of that work done, make sure you give Parker a phone call, man. Like I say all the time, no job too big, too small, no tree too tall. Give Parker a call, man. Thank you, brother. Love you, man. So moving right into kind of, I guess, what would be in the who's hot and who's not. Nobody's really hot right now. I mean, everybody's kind of doing the same thing. And it's not really a who's not. It's just some stuff that I got to get off my chest about social media and athletes and professional athletes. Like, I personally have nothing wrong with guys going out and using that platform to help benefit, certain things, certain cares that they have, to benefit the world in general. And, Bubba Wallace caught a lot of heat in some headlines this week with the tweets that he's let out on Twitter about the Rittenhouse trial. I'm not going to go into details about it. I personally think there's no place for politics in sports outside of the business aspect. But at the end of the day, man, he's got a lot of good and a lot of bad going. I don't know when enough is going to be enough for these guys to kind of just focus on your job and do your thing. I mean, opinions are like, I'm not going to say it. Everybody's got one, So I think it's sometimes we all just got to kind of bite our lip no matter how we feel about certain things and move on. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to down a man for, trying to better his outlook and better what he feels. So, the main, I guess, outcome that you can take out of certain situations that we go through here as a country is, look, man, educate ourselves from it, learn from it. Don't make the same mistakes twice, and that's all we can do. And I just really personally don't think social media helps these kind of situations. I think that's the downfall to social media. Everybody's able to put their opinion out there. You're going to catch a lot of heat for it. You're going to catch a lot of praise for it. At the end of the day, hey, like I said, I don't find anything wrong with athletes using their platform to help better us as a country and us all together, man, and that's what it's all about. So just had to get that out there. No political stuff in sports for me, man. I don't care anything about it, man. So we're going to keep it going right there with some other things. And going to be about Jimmie Johnson, man. I mean, big news, Jimmie Johnson, Travis Pastrana teaming up for the USA, man. They're going to race the International Race of Champions. If you rewind the clock, going 20 years ago, Jeff Gordon and Jimmie Johnson actually won this race in 2002 and brought that trophy home to the United States, man. So we'll see if Jimmie and Travis Pastrana can go and get it done for the USA this year. And glad to see Jimmie still out there racing, enjoying his life, man, and doing his thing outside of NASCAR realm. Really proud of that. But now we're getting ready to get into a little bit more. Continuing with Jimmie Johnson, read an article here on NASCAR.com a couple weeks ago, just his outlook on where the sport is, and he made some comments saying that drivers nowadays are underpaid, and you know, the money in the sport's not what it used to be, and the season's too long, and they should shorten the season up. And honestly, to me, I think that 36-point races is amazing. We do 38 races a year. We had the Clash, we had the All-Star race, but we got 36-point paying races. And I think that we built up to 36 from, you know, 32 when I first started watching up to 36. I think we could even go more if they wanted to go more. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's great for the sport to do it. I know that these drivers are away from home and away from their family. It's one of the shortest off seasons of all major sports. I mean, the season ends in November, picks right back up in February, along with all the testing that comes in between. So you don't have much time to go out and spend with your family. But I will say the one good thing about NASCAR is it's family oriented. Your family travels with you pretty much almost everywhere you go if they want to. So with the comments that Jimmie made, I can't take anything away from him. He's actually been in the sport. I'm just you know, somebody that watches it. I mean, and I have my opinion there again. But I tell you what, if the money is short in a sport, in any sport, especially NASCAR or baseball, football, basketball, this is something that these guys and girls dreamed about doing their whole life, right? They grew up playing that sport or driving a race car. That's all they wanted to do, and they finally had the opportunity to do it. So to me, if you can go out and do something every single weekend that you love to do, or every single week you love to do, and get a paycheck, maybe it's not $300 million like we're seeing in baseball, basketball, football, this crazy contracts. But at the end of the day, it's still good money, I guarantee you. And I think that the sport's on an incline, right? So we're gaining momentum as a sport. There's more eyes. There's more sponsors that are willing to get into it. There's more money that's going to be coming into the sport. So maybe with the more money that comes in and as the sport rebuilds, you'll see some of these driver contracts get bigger and bigger. And this is coming from a man that at one time was the second highest paid driver in NASCAR. So I don't know how a guy that goes from being the second highest paid NASCAR driver complains about what they're getting paid. I mean, I don't know how that works, but not to take anything away from seven-time himself, but the way I look at it is you're retired from NASCAR, bro, full-time. I absolutely love your insight. I really hope that you continue to help drive this sport into the right direction. But, you know, sometimes we just got to zip it and keep it moving, man. So at the end of the day, that's it that I got to comment about Jimmie Johnson, man. But I do want to give a big shout out over there to Green White Checkered PJ Zuko. Did our last show a couple weeks ago there, and so look forward to that, running that for the 2022 season. That's on ESPN 104.3 every Sunday morning, 9 to 9:30 here during NASCAR season. And thank you, PJ, for everything you do out there, brother. But if you haven't checked out that Coach's News, make sure you do. They got a lot of good stuff coming up, man. We got the grubbing part coming up right now. This is one of the hidden gems right here at Coach's Corner. You actually get down. Good old nachos, man. So you got the jalapenos, tomatoes. We did pulled chicken tonight. You can get beef. You can do anything you want, honestly. Queso cheese, which I don't know if anybody's had the queso out of Coach's, but let me tell you, it is delicious. Sour cream salsa. As soon as we get off, me and Lauren's going to bite into quite a few of these, man, and absolutely enjoy. So as I say all the time, man, if you're looking for good eats, good food, good friends, right here at Coach's Corner, Thunderbolt, Georgia, the center of the universe, man. That's the spot to come for sure. So I hope everybody out there is having good holidays, good times, man, enjoying that time with your family. Honestly, that's what it's all about. I'm getting ready to get off here, have a nice cold beer with one of my best friends here, Mr. Lawrence Bennett. Going to go catch up with some family here soon, grab something to eat, man, and get ready for that turkey day tomorrow. But thank you guys for tuning in, as always. Like I said, make sure you spend that time with that family. Hug your loved ones, man. Make sure you have a great turkey day out there. And if all else, you're trying to look for somewhere to come and have some cold beers, get some drinks, got to come right here at Coach's Corner, man. So as I always say, man, stay safe. Love y'all. Always have good holidays. And until next time, wash your hands, y'all. Love y'all. That's pretty good, man. Good little holiday show.